authorities work. It's so important. Sharing knowledge is an essential process. We touched upon verification. Mr. Matrekhin, who represents the army from the Murmansk region, so he visited the lithium deposits. And I was just flying over this deposit on the helicopter. I wasn't able to have a closer look. It's a remote area. It's hard to reach. And it wasn't the right weather. Can you share your impressions of what did you observe as you watched these researchers do their job? Hi, everyone. I'd like to go back a step further, 50 years ago, when I used to live in around Lavozera, in the Murmansk region. There used to be no roads, and the helicopters could come. And when the first explorers came, the first researchers came, we were excited. We met with the people, talked to them, and we saw that these are positively minded people who really bright, and these memories are really good. I'm fond of these memories, and these geologists, they could find some rapport with us, with children. We had some issues with our bathhouse, and we used to go to this camp by the geologists, and they said, okay, you can have a bath there, you can have a shower there. So that's where this relationship started for me. Now, 50 years on, I'm back to this kind of area. I'm back to my childhood. I went to this Kalmazor deposit. We were there with the researchers. They've done it was a painstaking effort. It was dozens of kilometers. We looked at the water reservoirs. We caught the fish that the scientists studied. They looked at the flora and fauna. There's so much, and we thought of how we can best preserve it. So the scientists took note of everything. But the locals always have concerns, They're afraid that when the deposit is going to be explored, and some facilities going to be built, and some large plants going to be built.
But whatever is done, there might be disbalance, there might be some damage done. The most important thing is to minimize it. We realize that negotiations are ongoing. We're trying to understand how to minimize the damage. One thing I noticed that there are a lot of people part of this process. They are working in this region. A lot of locals are working there. We can't ignore that. People have a job that they never had before. But how do we preserve what we have? The nature, our reindeers, because it's very fragile. To me, it's like that. Norilsk nickel helped us preserve what we have. In the Peninsula, we now have less reindeer herders. We used to have 150, now we have 50. In the beginning we had 1,000 reindeers, now we have 400. So the most important thing for this review is to preserve herding as a traditional activity for our population.
Я понимаю, что на сегодня все нормально, то есть провели экспертизу, все хорошо, есть рыб.
It's a good thing that we have the review. It's great that we have fish, we have birds, swans, but what's going to happen in 5-10 years when work is going to be done? When we are going to process and do something else. If the country needs lithium, then we need to think about the future. We need to think about where to get it. What's going to happen next in Russia? And another important question, what will be left? We all people, we need to improve our lives. Many cities and towns wouldn't have been there unless people wanted to improve. If it wasn't for people who wanted to improve this, so we need to find a golden middle so that everyone would benefit from that. Damage will be there, no doubt, but balance must be maintained. People need to know that this was not in vain. I think we would need to train people, but it's important to encourage people to go in reindeer herding so that people would want to go in this field. Everyone wants a better life, but we want to preserve our traditions, languages, culture, so we need to join forces and do something big. That's what matters. And this ethnical review, it's a good thing. Indigenous peoples are part of this. This is good. I heard what happened in Timor, that people were grateful for what has been done. Because these companies cared, they wanted indigenous peoples to preserve their culture and language. They wanted them to live. They wanted to preserve everything good that they have achieved so far. So I wish for that to happen. Thank you. Thank you so much. I think we're on the right track. So when the review is done, we can move on and get the FPIC. And this could be a good platform. And we could get more information about the ecosystem and those measures that are to be implemented. 4 square kilometers, that's the field, and it's really tiny on the map. But power lines, access roads, this is much more, this is much bigger and could have a much bigger effect on reindeer herding, for example. So we have to weigh our chances. So thus we're going to have recommendations. So thank you so much. Sergey.